Welcome back to the Severe MMA YouTube channel, where today I'm joined by the UFC's newest signing, their youngest signing, and arguably, potentially, a potential youngest UFC champion in the future, Mohamed Mokaev. Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you? How's everything?
I'm doing great. Look, what I should have said in the intro as well is undefeated, 23-0 amateur career. 5-0, 6-0. That's a little bit up for debate, depending on which website you look at the moment.
I don't care, even if it's 1-0, you know.
Yeah, but regardless, still undefeated. So look, you've just been signed to the UFC. What's the emotions been like the last few days? How's it been like since getting signed?
You know, it was like crazy emotions, and it's not like wow, I made it. It's not. This is one of the, like, it's IMMAF, Brave, UFC. It's like, you know, small steps to my final goal. This is it's not like I just want to be UFC fighter. I want to be there to make a statement. Also, I've got like a British citizenship day after I've got the UFC signing, so it was like a huge for me, especially all my traveling what I've done for my fights. It was like 4 or 5 weeks. I have to wait for visa. Not sure if I get visa, I have to make weight. Every time I make weight, I didn't even have a visa, you know, so I had to fly out like 2 days before, like all the transfers and everything. And I remember like in World Championships, 2 days before World Championship in 2018, I was 23 hours at the airport sitting because the border, it was problem with the border control, you know. So now it's like, I'm gonna throw the British passport at them and be like, hey, let me in.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're traveling so much for when you're trying to compete, it must have been a real pain in the ass to try and get into the country each time.
Yeah, this year I've probably been like 8 to 10 different countries, you know. And imagine every country I have to go to, from Manchester, go to London, apply for a visa, give fingerprints, come back to Manchester. So that's 2 days of my training, you know, and like switch off my schedule and also be like worrying about my about I get visa or not. It's not just I'm competing in MMA, I'm competing in wrestling. Like this year I went to Romania, I went to Serbia for wrestling competition in between fights. So it's like
that must add a lot of stress on fight week when you're trying to focus on competition, but you have to think about, okay, well, am I going to get into this country? Am I going to get into that country?
Yeah, you know, even for debut, remember when I fought against Glenn, I needed visa for Sweden actually, and basically, I couldn't. The embassy was closed for Sweden. So what I had to do, for Copenhagen, I didn't need visa, so I fly there, and then from there I got like you call Flixbus, you know, like buses between Europe. So I got on a bus in 9 hours. I was in Sweden, and then I know, like, if I get in, I get out, no problem. Like, and then I do Google research, how to people what they're doing in Europe, and then when I fly out from there, the border agency, border control officer asked me like, how did you get in? I told him all my route. He's like, he says, you're crazy, you're risking. I'm like, hey, this is my debut, I have to.
Yeah, well, look, it's been a great week for you, as you said, getting signed to the UFC and also receiving confirmation of your British citizenship. Was there, did anyone reach out to you? Like, was there any famous people that reached out to congratulate after getting signed? Any Man United players? I know your good friend Brendan Loughnane's friends with Marcus Rashford and people like that. Did any of those guys reach out to you?
To be honest, I think Man City, my friend who Zinchenko, who plays for Man City, he reached out, like, he congratulated him for long time friends, even if he knows I support United. Yeah, we're friends maybe like since 2016 something, and so. Of course, like big names you see yourself on social media, but I have to actually show the results, not just to be like, hey, this guy youngest UFC fighter. No one cares. Like, maybe somebody cares, but of course people want me to fail. Everybody want to see this, even if you're a good guy. They want to see how you're gonna lose, not like he should lose because he's like, I don't know. They want to see how you're gonna lose. Like, everybody want to see undefeated guy losing. So I'm just gonna show them that you can't stay undefeated all the way to the belt.
Of course, and now it's your job to prove them wrong. And look, it was great news to see that you've gotten your citizenship confirmed. But like you have an amazing story, and I know you spoke with Ariel on Monday. But like just going back to, you know, coming to the UK, and like am I correct in saying you had to be snuck into the UK when you were 12?
Yeah.
Yeah, like what? Go ahead.
Yeah, since 2012 till 2017, I couldn't travel. Imagine, like I was like #1 ranked in British wrestling, British championships, and then see the guy who came second traveling instead of me. And imagine the ages, like cadets, like juniors. I missed these opportunities. Now I just have to compete in seniors. You know, it's like I was looking, I was sitting at home. I'm like, what to do? What to do is like, what can I do? I'm winning like British championships. I need to do something. I need to challenge myself. So I moved to like MMA, moved to BJJ, boxing, did little bit stuff. I want to stay busy. I want somebody beat me like in this around UK scene, because around UK scene like BJJ is better than wrestling, you know. And then like boxers, #1, I think like boxers in UK are the best, one of the best in the world. So I want somebody beat me so I come back to gym and learn, stay more hungry. I don't want to be like go to wrestling, beat everybody, come back and mess around the gym, you know, and think I'm the best. There's always something to improve.
And it must have been a very difficult time in your life. Like, do you remember coming to the UK? Do you remember what that was like, or like was it a scary trip?
Yeah, it's already 10 years ago, you know. So of course, imagine you coming to another country. It's crazy. It's like you don't know the language, you don't know the people, you don't know what's gonna be. To be honest, like for first year, I was like, why am I existing in this world? You know, like what I'm doing, you know, what it's like. And then like the life changed, and that's how I think I become mentally strong.
Yeah, like I know if it was me and I was, you know, arriving in a different country where I didn't speak the language and I knew nobody and a completely different culture, that I'd be terrified. Like, was it difficult for you to fit in when you arrived to the UK?
It was of course. It's especially when you don't know what's gonna happen with you. Like since 2012, basically as a refugee, we're waiting for this. It's every refugee person waiting for the decision, either yes, either no. So imagine, like some people get decision in 2 weeks. You know, some people get decision in 10 years. I was one of them who got in 5 years. So I got decision in 5 years saying like you got 14 days to leave the country. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? You know, like I already live here 5 years. I compete here, and like all my life I already got used to this life. It was hard for me to get used to UK atmosphere. Now I'm already into the life, and now you want to send me back. Are you messing around? You know what they're doing? Either you say yes, no at the start, or come on. The guys was like saying you go for. So I had good solicitor. He sorted everything out, and it's crazy how long you have to wait, you know.
So they actually rejected your application. Maybe yes. Like 5 years ago or 4 years ago?
Years. Yeah.
Wow.
So
wow.
2017, 4 years ago, 2017, it was refusal. I'm like, hey, to be honest, like since 2012, 2017, I was every day the letterman comes. I used to like waiting for him, you know, before school. If he's got any letters, I was like in prison, you know. So even if I walk to school, I know what street to walk because I see postman and ask him, you got anything for the address, you know? And then actually when I see for 2017 the refusal, I was angry, you know. Yeah, I was upset. I was more upset than angry. You
know? Understandably, I would be too, and I'm glad that it's finally been sorted out for you now. Yeah. And so obviously you start training. I was speaking with your good friend Brendan Loughnane yesterday. And he was telling me that he first met you at the YMCA club, and he's kind of watched you growing from a boy to a man, and he's telling me that like there's no doubt in his mind that you're going to become a UFC champion. Can you speak to me? Do you remember meeting Brendan, and what kind of role has he played in your life, I guess?
I always think I'm always saying to my friends, you know, like he's fighting on PFL now, so there's many Russians guys around. I always tell them as well. I said, listen, this guy, when I came to the club, like in Manchester, there's like White Cup. So when met him there. I didn't speak English, nothing. I just had to like wrestle. So I told him, let's go wrestling, you know. So, and then that's how we understood each other. There was no need for language. There was like there was no barrier between me and him. And he's always like take care of me, show me some moves, show me technique like a little brother, you know. So I really appreciate what he's done. Like K Musa, Leroy Murphy, and these guys are around Manchester, you know. They're still taking care of the younger generation. Even I know how hard how hard it is to stay like a professional fighter and take care of somebody, you know. But they still do. It means a lot, you know. So it means a lot, especially when I had nothing. They still believed in me.
That's amazing. And so you're from Wigan, right? But do you represent, or do you feel that you represent Manchester more or Wigan more? Because you obviously, you know, you do a lot of training in Manchester. Or is this a bad question to ask?
I think Wigan guys don't like you.
Both.
Yeah, you know. So my father still lives in Wigan, so I go there sometimes. Sometimes I stay at his, go to training. I train in Liverpool in the morning, nighttime I train in Manchester. So I'm traveling in between. So Wigan was like a good place for me to travel sometimes. But I live in Salford as well. So I just stay there.
The whole area.
Yeah, the whole area is mine, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And look, I wanted to talk. Look, your amateur career was incredible. If I go through the accolades, there was, you know, multiple IMMAF championships, multiple promotions. There was so many that when I put out a tweet earlier this week, I forgot, and yet to remind me that there was the UKFC two titles there as well. The amateur career must have, you know, that experience must be incredibly important to you.
Mm-hmm. That's right. You know, so many fights I had in UK is crazy. I remember when I was like 11-0, I didn't even compete at IMMAF, and like some guys was telling me, don't go to IMMAF because it's so many good guys. There's like Russians, Americans. I'm like, hey, I don't care. It's like they should worry about me. It's like why I shouldn't go? If I don't go there, how can I say I'm number one in the world? I can't say I'm number one in UK, but that's enough. But then I want to prove that, especially I want to prove to the Home Office as well. To be honest, I really want to prove this a lot. I want to show them that I can bring medals for UK. I can be a good citizen. I made the history already, brought 2 IMMAF gold medals that nobody done before. And so I already proved them, but it's not my final destination. I want to prove them more. I want to show them, listen, like one of the kids that coming could be one of like me guys. So respect, you know, take care, look at the cases and understand. But amateur career make me strong. Like UKFC 2-weight division, I fought for in 2 weights, especially like IMMAF I've done as well, juniors, seniors. So it's good experience.
And then as you transition to become a professional, and I think everyone already knew just how impressive that your wrestling was and your grappling were. But over the last few fights, I've noticed anyway a noticeable difference in your striking, where it's risen up a level. And especially when I watched the fight against Blaine O'Driscoll, a fellow Irishman, you look great on the feet, and you managed to submit him in the second. And that was when I was kind of really like, okay, like Mo is ready now. And you might not like me bringing this up, but you got mad at me before because I was criticized. There was a couple of fights in your pro career, a couple of matchups where I was criticized. The Hayden Sheriff one, and I was saying, this is crazy because you're so, you know, you're so decorated, so undefeated.
I agree.
Versus a guy. But what I also said to you at the time was that I wasn't blaming you. Was it very difficult to get matchups in your pro career because of your amateur experience, because of all the titles that you'd won, and the caliber of a fighter that you are?
So basically, there was like some fighter that was supposed to come from Europe, you know, to fight me. He refused, so we got this late replacement. To be honest, I think they removed him from my record. You know, I don't care. You know, even if I be like 2-0, record for me is nothing. People maybe say like he did that fight just for record. I'm like, hey, I don't have to prove anybody. I already proved. Like if I would choose my fights, I wouldn't go to IMMAF. Imagine an IMMAF there's 5 fights in 1 week, in 5 days. You have to make weight every day, and you don't know who is your opponent. So every day you get like, you don't know his name. You don't know who look to, like find him on Google, on YouTube, search up, write stuff, and be like, I'm gonna do this plan against him. And IMMAF, you don't do this. I believe like IMMAF fights was tougher than professional. If you see, I've got a lot of decisions in amateur career than professional career, right? So I understand what you're saying. It's not good for the profile, but it's happened. So we move on. And after this, I've got 2 good opponents.
Exactly. So you're saying that you just fight whoever's put in front of you, that you don't pick and choose, whoever's available, you fight. Yeah. And what I was expecting, I was a little bit surprised when I saw you kind of liking the people who had kind of predicted that you would be in the UFC, and I was like, what's going on here? And then you got signed. I was surprised because I was expecting you to fight for the Brave title. Was a decision made there to go to the UFC now rather than kind of going for that Brave title first?
So at the moment, I'm ranked number 3 in Brave. There's like Ali Bagautinov, then Vilimurat Al-Khassov. So these guys in the final now for the Brave tournament. So imagine they're gonna fight like next year, maybe like March time. So then it's everybody in Russia like to rest, you know. So they're gonna rest for another 3-4 months, and then I'm not sure it's COVID happen again, something happens again. When I'm gonna fight for the title? That's why I made this decision. I'm like, hey, what's my dream at the start? When I came to the Brave, I told him, I've got offer by Bellator, good money, like very, very good money. I've got offer by ONE FC, I've got one offer by like some European organizations, but I said, but from those organizations, I couldn't leave and go to UFC anytime. But give me this chance in Brave. So when I'm ready, I'm going. So I felt I'm ready, and I'm in UFC now. Maybe people say I'm still young. I'm still young, but my last opponent is 29. My opponent before that, 24 years old. It's not about age. I spar with adult guys in the gym since like 2015, 16, and I some bit like black belts, brown belts. It's not about age. It's about your IQ, fight IQ.
And you talked before about, you know, not wanting to go the Dana White Contender Series route, that you felt that you'd done enough to be signed outright. I would be remiss. There's another UK flyweight who went through Dana White Contender Series called Jake Hadley, and you guys don't like each other. What is going on there? I've seen a lot of back and forth online.
I will tell you the story. You know, there's many people on Twitter hates this guy. You know, like even when I posted something, they're like, "Hey, smash this guy." I'm like, okay. You know, when even before I signed, when I said Jake on contenders, I told my manager, give me him for debut for UFC. I'll destroy him. And it's like UFC don't match prospects for the start. So I will tell you this story. Like in 2017, he called me out. Like one day I'm like, after training, I come back, somebody tagged me in the post. He called me out. Him, Jack Egglin, John Jones, and all these guys, you know, this amateur back in the days. They call me out, hey, this Mohammed kid, like the hype about and all this. I'm like, hey, shut up. So then he's like, he called out, I think, Liam Gittins, right? You know Liam Gittins?
Yeah.
Who fights in Cage Warriors right now. So I'm like, hey, I give you man's word. Whoever wins out of you two, I will fight. So Liam Gittins, you know, smashed him. There's fight on YouTube. He's battered him. He's like, take him down, like dominate him. And I'm like, hey. And Liam Gittins was 7-1 that time. I was like 4-0. And I'm like, okay, let's fight Liam Gittins for the title. So I stepped up. Liam Gittins was, I think, 22 years old that time. I was 17. And you all see what I've done with Liam Gittins, you know. So I dominated him. And Jake shut his mouth for a little bit. And then he's opened his mouth again. He's a mouth guy, you know. So he said all the hype he needs. He sees like, oh, my week been busy. He needs followers, but he doesn't understand that he's like, he acts like an idiot. People don't support people like him, you know. They don't. He's like, after Dana White contenders, he should have been bigger than me, right? Dana White contenders is big exposure. That's when UFC post you and everything. Like with my signing, I've done bigger exposure than most fighters that I actually fought in UFC. And I hope I can get him one day in UFC. I'll dominate him. Come on, he got taken down in that Dana White contenders. You see what Blaine O'Driscoll done to him. You remember this fight?
Yeah, in Bellator.
You remember this fight? What Blaine did to him, Blaine couldn't do it to me. So it's different level.
Do you think that's a fight that can be made? I know it seems like there's a lot of heat between you, but you're both Paradigm guys, right? Does Tim sit down or Audi sit down and say, let's calm down here?
Yes, Tim told me to calm down because Jake posted false information. He said you turned down Dana White contenders when they offered me to you. I'm like, so I messaged Tim. I'm like, I never done this. So I never been offered Jake Hadley. You know, if even like I'm saying I don't deserve to go Dana White contest, but if there was Jake Hadley, I would close my eyes and I go there because it's easy fight. You know, and also I want to like beat him crazy, you know. So I'm like, and then he deleted this tweet. Jake Hadley deleted this tweet because we got some money, but he's like Conor, you know, posting, deleting.
So you think that it's inevitable that eventually a clash of the UK flyweights in the UFC? Hopefully,
you know, like there's better guys to fight. I beat him and people say he's a cringe. You beat nobody. That's it. That's another name to beat. But I'm aiming for the title. I'm not aiming for Jake Hadley. He's a nobody for me.
And just a few more questions, Mohammed. I know I've taken a lot of your time so far. There's another guy I got to ask you about again, and that's Paddy Pimblett. What is going on there? You guys have been back and forth online as well. Are you defending Brendan Loughnane's honor from their feud where they never got to fight, or what's going on? I've seen a lot of back and forth between you online.
Yeah, of course, it's happened. Like when Brendan supposed to fight, like all this, supposed to fight him, he didn't accept and all this. He's an idiot as well. He's another like cringe, you know. So he's gonna get mauled in UFC. Like he's already got mauled in his debut against not great fighter, and he's got like a 2 weeks out of last his 5 fights, and then I actually. When we was training during COVID times, not all elite athletes was allowed to train. And I remember he rang the police and saying like, the training in the gym, you know, it's all been proved. Come on, this is wrong. Nobody does this. Even I believe even police be like, hey, come on, you two grown up men, you know, what are you doing? So this guy posting, but
you're saying that Paddy called the police?
Yes, that's right.
Oh,
so it's wrong, you know. He always talking about my coach Dean Garnett, and actually, like before I came to Bahrain, I messaged him. I want to meet you. I was in Liverpool. I messaged him. I want to meet you. He said I'm in San Diego, I think. So I didn't even know that. So I want to meet him.
You wanted to meet him to fight or to talk?
We'll see. Yeah. Of course, it's wrong, you know. Whatever he posted one day like you cannot represent Great Britain. You didn't born here. There's some immigrants came from Afghanistan. He said like go back to your country. Come on, some racism comments there. You know this guy is an idiot. Not about my situation, about everyone's. Posting stupid stuff. You know he's grown man, act like a kid, and he thinks it's funny, but don't forget all this hype while you're active on UFC. Once you get off, any fighter that have bad background story, they're gonna hate on him. You know, remember this.
Okay, and let's talk about some more positive topics now. So, yeah, your coach, you've another Irishman in your corner, in John Hutchinson, John Boy, your boxing coach. Was it in Tiger Muay Thai? Is that how you linked up with him?
Yes, Johnny, when I started with PT Yan in Tiger Muay Thai, that's when Johnny started picking me up and showing me everything, and you know, he actually make me like as a better striker, better to understand striking, and he's always taking care of me when I'm in Thailand. There's like a good team in Thailand. There's like Woody, strength conditioning coach, Hickman Brothers MMA, and Johnny Boxing. So I really want him in my corner for my UFC fight, for my UFC debut. I want him to be there, and he's always like in the fight week. He always stay in touch, even if he's talent. He's always against Blaine, against everybody. You know, he stays in touch like a good coach. Always make a plan, and like, I'm really happy to work with him.
And that's what I was going to ask, is he's obviously famed for being a coach to UFC champion Piotr Jan. It sounds like you did get to work with Piotr. What was that experience like? And, you know, was there anything that you know, he was able to teach you, or maybe you teach him?
Maybe second version, but joking. But no, it's good. Everybody in Tiger, there's like Volkanovski, there's like so many guys, good training, everybody's par each other. There's not like, I'm gonna smash him, I'm gonna prove myself, I'm gonna prove him that I can beat UFC fighter. This is wrong. This is like learning. This is normal fighting. It's not like UFC fighter, you come from different planet. It's exactly the same fighter, not exactly, it's nothing special. It's just a little bit more experience who has, and like mentality wise.
And last question. So again, thank you so much for your time. John Jones is the current youngest UFC champion. He holds that record. I know that you're coming for that record. How do you see yourself achieving that? Like, if you could predict the next couple of years en route to you becoming the youngest UFC champion ever, what does it look like?
I think end of 2023, I will take this belt. I will take this belt. I believe, you know, I really believe. Many people may think this, like, these guys have crazy dreams, but I already said in 2018, I said, listen, then I'm gonna be in UFC very soon. In 4 years, I made this. I always said I'm gonna be IMMAF champion. I've got the screenshot actually. When I received my documents in 2017, you know, after I got refused, end of 2017, I messaged president of UK MMA, Nigel Burgess. I messaged him. I said, listen, Nigel, if you take me to the for IMMAF team in World Championships, I will bring gold medal for UK. And gold medal from IMMAF, it's not easy. You know this yourself. So I did told him this, and I did. And second time also, when it was selection was going on, I said, I'm gonna bring the gold medal, and I did again. So when you believe in yourself, you put in your hard work. With hard work, you become strong mentally, and then that's how you perform.
Are there any flyweights in the UFC that you want to beat en route to becoming champion?
Anybody who gets me to the top, the higher ranking guy is better. Less fights has to be done.
Well, look, Mohammed, I think that your resume speaks for itself. You know, your amateur career, your pro career to date, and I think anyone who's listening to this, if they haven't watched you, I would suggest going and watching back your fights, because if there's anyone who can do it and become the youngest UFC champion, I think it is you. I think that your fighting speaks for itself, and I envisage big things for you in the UFC. So again, thank you for your time today. Thank you to Tim and Victoria and Paradigm for setting this up. And thanks everyone for watching. So if you like the interview, if you want to see more, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and we'll see you again in the future. Mohammed, best of luck with your UFC career, and thanks for the time today.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.